Okay, so I don't often do movie reviews on this channel, but I have been so excited for this film. It's a small little indie flick. You might have heard about it, Superman. Thanks to WB Canada, I was invited to the Canadian premiere of the movie here in Toronto, and well, I want to talk about it with you guys. Before we do so though, if you're hyped for Superman, if you can't wait to see this movie yourself, hit that thumbs up button, and also check out the merch, guys. We got some brand new merch here. Take me home, Crypto. It's such a good design. You gotta get yourselves one. The link is in the description. But okay, to start off with my review for Superman, I'm gonna say exactly what I said in my social media reaction. As soon as I got out of the theater, what I wanted to say is that it's the perfect comic book movie. It's not the perfect movie by any means, but in its genre, this is exactly what you want out of these kinds of movies. I mean, James Gunn Superman, it feels like I'm at my local comic book shop. I just picked up a Superman book. I'm flipping through the pages and I'm watching these characters leap off those pages. The story of the film revolves around Superman intervening during a conflict overseas and what the potential consequences are of his involvement in that conflict, as well as like the domino effect that happens from what he does in the beginning of the film. Superman believes in the idea that there should never be a barrier to helping somebody in need, while people like Lois Lane, for example, might think that it's a bit more complicated than that. And then you got people like Lex Luthor who have just an unrelenting hatred towards Superman for the fact that he is an alien. I really do think that James Gunn wrote a strong script here and directed it with such finesse. It's interesting because in a recent interview that I had watched with James Gunn, he mentioned that this is like the first time that he's made like a superhero movie. You know, it's not a movie about supervillains that are forced to do something good. It's not about a ragtag team that are just, you know, working towards a common goal. No, this is a movie about a hero who just wants to do good. It felt like James Gunn was like eager to tell this specific story. He was eager to, you know, portray his version of Superman, or at least the one that he envisioned. And I do think he nailed it. But I don't think that's entirely on James Gunn. Again, I think the script is good. I think he directed it really well. But a huge part of why Superman is so good in this movie, it's David Corenswet as Superman. I mean, the guy just embodies everything that Superman should be about. His ideals, his sensibilities, and even his faults. I mean, everything about the way that David performed as this character, it made it feel like Superman was real. And he's played opposite, obviously, Rachel Brosnahan's Lois Lane. I think they have such good chemistry together, and you can honestly tell why James Gunn went through such a strenuous process going through the casting of this film, making sure that not only was he casting the right person as Superman, but also the right person as Lois Lane, and the right people that have the chemistry as those two characters. And you can see that on full display with both of these actors and their performances. It's so well done. The one thing I will say, if I were to give a little nitpick, is I do wish we saw more of the two of them on screen together. There's a fair amount, and it's enough for me to buy into the relationship and to buy, you know, the way that they feel about each other. But again, I wish we had a bit more screen time so that we can flesh it out even more. There's one scene in particular that plays out like a stage play, and it's so well done, and it gives you a good idea about the positions that both these characters are in. And I just gotta give huge credit to the actors, and as well for the film to want to have a moment like that where we just sit down, step away from the action for a minute, and just have these characters talk. And oh my god, Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor, this dude crushes it in this movie. He's insanely good as a villain. That ego that Lex has, the envy that he feels, and again, that relentless rage towards Superman, it's on full display here. It's incredible. Even his demeanor when he's face to face with Superman, that smug look that he has on his face. Nicholas Hoult, my dude, you gotta play some more villains. This was so good. You know, oftentimes when you get comic book movies, we get a lot of these forgettable comic book villains, or, you know, villains that are just like mustache twirly. But I really feel that Nicholas Holt's Lex Luthor strikes such a perfect balance where he's one of those villains that you just love to hate. The rest of the side cast here works relatively well. I think Hawkgirl's costume looks a little weird. She's alright though. I think Nathan Fillion is kind of just being Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner's Green Lantern, but at the same time, I mean, does he fit sort of the personality of Guy? A little bit. So I don't know how much I can fault the actor, more so than I could say like maybe it was well cast, but I've just seen Nathan Fillion do this same thing so many times before, so it wasn't anything to me where I was like, man, he's doing a great job. And also, again, that costume, it's just funky looking. You know who is a standout, though, in the side cast specifically for that Justice Gang? My God, Mr. Terrific, dude. I'm gonna need the Mr. Terrific spin-off show immediately, the spin-off movie right now, and I'm gonna need the Mr. Terrific video game like tomorrow. This character is so good, has one of the best action sequences in the movie, and some of the best one-liners in any superhero movie. Like, I don't know, the rest of the Justice Gang wasn't really doing it for me. They weren't like amazing. There was nothing about them that I was super excited to see, but when it came to Mr. Terrific, every second he was on screen, I was eating it up. And then there's also, you know, Metamorpho in the film, another character that I feel like we don't spend enough time with to just, you know, really connect with, but he was all right. I love the look. I love that it's practical. Everything about that I was really happy with. But I feel like there are a lot of moments in this film where we're kind of just dropped right into the middle of it. You know, we don't really know the backstory. We don't really know how we got to this destination. It's just like, here you are, here's this character, here's what's going on, there's the motivation. And Metamorpho's character specifically kind of suffers from a bit of that, but I would love to see more of this character in the future. And then, you know, you have like the Daily Planet gang, all of them are great. I think the guy they cast as Jimmy Olsen is like picture freaking perfect. Everybody there is having a lot of fun, and I think them building a practical set of the Daily Planet really helped a lot of those performances shine, and a lot of it feels, you know, very authentic. And yeah, there's also Crypto in the movie. I thought the inclusion of Crypto was really well done here. I love, obviously, that James Gunn tried to portray or, you know, create this version of the character based on his own dog. I'm more of a cat guy myself. I'm sorry, but everybody that I've spoken to that is a dog owner is like, yeah, that's what it's like owning a dog. It's extremely chaotic, but you can't help but love them. And the score is excellent, man. It works so well. John Murphy is crushing it. I know there are a lot of people that have a problem with the fact that it's like the original Christopher Reeve Superman score, and I do understand some of the complaints there, but it works for me, man. It works for me. I mean, this movie, it's just so bright and beautiful and colorful to look at. Everything just pops. It just helps make this new world, this new DC universe feel so alive. Seeing Superman soar through the sky as he's fighting a giant kaiju is the level of sci-fi fun that I've been waiting for in a Superman movie. And while this is like very much a James Gunn film, and it has those same elements of comedy and as well those same elements of emotion that you normally expect out of one of his movies, I will say I got those like Sam Raimi vibes watching this. You know, just one of those comic book movies that's like unashamed of the source material. It's not afraid to be campy. It's not afraid to be silly. I've been needing that. I've been yearning for that, especially for Superman, and this movie really delivered. When Zack Snyder made Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman, and again, I'm so happy that he got to make his version of Justice League, I think for the time, those movies really work. I personally think Man of Steel is one of the best comic book movies of all time. I am a huge defender of Batman vs. Superman, okay? I'm a Snyder fan. It was interesting to see a grounded take on Superman at the time that those movies had come out. But James Gunn's version of Superman that we're seeing here in this movie, it's one that I've been waiting for. It's one that I was hoping to see post Man of Steel. A Superman driven by compassion for everyone, for every living being on planet Earth. A Superman that doesn't want to be seen better than his fellow man. He's full of hope, and it's a Superman that understands that what makes him a hero is that he's human. I loved this film. I laughed, I cried, I looked up. James Gunn's Superman, for me, gets a 9 out of 10. But hey, that's just my opinion. You obviously don't have to take that as fact. Go see the movie for yourself and form your own opinion. And let me know in the comments below, what did you think of Superman? Once again, check out the merch. It's going to be linked in the description box below. I really love the design. I think the team crushed it with that. And with that being said, I've been Caboose. I'll see you guys later.